Good morning, everybody. Mrs. Mays, grade 8 English Language Arts class. All right. Monday morning coming right at you. I apologize for my voice. It's a little bit hoarse, a little congested. I did have the flu last week, as you guys know. So thank you so much for working really well for the sub and keeping on top of all your assignments when I was gone. This makes this Monday so much easier and definitely able to just kind of jump back in with it and keep going with my lesson plans, which is amazing. So you guys are rock stars. So today, as you guys can see, this is our last autobiography chapter. We will be incorporating ellipses, dashes, and then making sure that you use your commas correctly. We have looked at these three things like earlier in the school year, but this is just really good review, really good way to kind of polish up your skills and really make sure that that chapter for me is nice and clean, has all the correct usage, and just incorporating another standard. All right. Today we're doing language 8.2. It's to demonstrate command of conventions of standard English language, capitalization, punctuation, and then obviously spelling when we're writing. And then even closely with punctuation today, again, it's the commas, ellipses, and dashes. All right. Using the ellipsis to indicate an omission, spelling correctly, dashes just for some extra, I guess you could say, like, just to make it look extra, honestly. Okay. So I want you guys to pull up your guided notes. They're posted on Google Classroom. If you can either pull them up and you can type in your answers, you can either print them off real fast and actually write them in. Some of you like to do a little bit old school, or you guys can just write your notes as I am filling them in on your own screen. Okay. So just kind of try to follow along. The more you know, the more you have now, the easier it's going to be when you're working on your chapter by yourself, okay? So I know last week with the sub, you guys did do this pre-assessment. There was 5 questions, and it was really just to incorporate a potential dash, ellipsis, and or commas. I did grade them. They looked pretty good. I would say probably half of us are there, half of us are not, which is why I really thought this would be a good idea to incorporate, really make sure we're all on the same page, and your chapters can be, the best that they are, could be, all right? So you will see these 5 sentences towards the end of this lecture, and you guys will have another opportunity to raise that grade, hopefully by getting a 5 out of 5, and we can kind of put that aside, so, okay? So I have opened my guided notes on a separate docs, and I obviously have the lecture itself. So as I go through, I'm just going to put in the answers in capital letters, so you know kind of where I'm at with the speed of the lecture, all right? So we're going to start off, ellipses, all right? These are actually really fun. These are to show a pause in one's thinking. So when you are writing, after you read it, you're like, oh, wait, they did just take a pause right there, okay? So to show a pause in thinking, and it also could indicate hesitation. So I want you guys to put the word pause and indicates hesitation, okay? I think I might even make these red over here so you guys can see like that, what I'm pulling, okay? I also like you guys to do one example. I always have you write one of the 2 down that I give you. So if you'd rather do, I'm not sure, well, I guess my grandma could be considered a saint, all right? You could put anybody's name in here. Maybe you want to put Mrs. May or Dr. Ellis's name. My teacher could be a saint, okay? My grandma, my mom, whichever, okay? Just a fun example. Or, I didn't get my homework done. I wonder how many of you have used that throughout your careers, okay? So really simple ellipses, giving us that weird pause, some indication, hesitation, good stuff like that. So those are really fun. You guys, you always enjoy doing those for sure. So moving on to our dashes, okay? This looks like 2 hyphens put together. So we did hyphens back in an older chapter, but I want you guys to make sure that a dash, you're putting 2 hyphens together to create what we call the dash. And this is to actually add the drama, or to add that extra that I tell you guys about, that I want to see in your writing. I want to see that extra thing. I want to see that drama. So, all right. over here, okay? And there are 4 ways to use a dash, all right? First off, to set off material for emphasis. So this kind of goes with an ellipsis in a way, like emphasizing a certain area to show a pause or to show some hesitation. You could use a dash going into an ellipsis even sometimes, okay? All right, to indicate a sentence, introduction, or the conclusion. Okay, so literally the beginning or the end. And I'm just gonna sentence, introduction, or conclusion. Okay, over here. Oh my goodness. All right, we also have to mark a bonus phrase or phrases. All right, those are pretty fun. That's probably the most common way to use a dash. And I know a lot of you probably did go with option 3 when you put yours in your old chapter. So I really recommend you guys try something different. Try to do one for emphasis. Try to do one for an intro or a conclusion this time. Okay. And then our last one, also pretty easy, to break up dialogue. All right. And a lot of you guys are doing really, really well with how to put dialogue in your writing and really make sure the commas and the quotations and all the capitalization is correct. So this would be also probably a pretty easy one to do if you were to add in as such. All right, and that one should be red as well. Okay. So next slide, I have just an example of each way to use a dash, and I'd like you guys to fill in the blanks with me. All right. So the dash continued to set off material for emphasis. Like I said, kind of an easy one. The example would be the students dash, they were each over the age of 18, end the dash, lined up in the streets to vote for the presidential candidates. All right. So what's being emphasized is that these kids are finally over the age of 18, which would make them, candidates for a presidential election or even just to vote in general. So the emphasis is on their age, which is why this makes the dash correct for using it as a emphasis. So the emphasis of their age. So I'm just going to highlight age of 18 because that is the purpose of this dash right here, okay, is to show their age, okay? The second way was to indicate sentence introductions or conclusions, okay? To improve their health, Americans should critically examine the foods that they eat, fast food, fatty foods, junk food, and sugary snacks, okay? So in your notes, I just want you to add the rest of that. So it was fast food, fatty fried food, junk food, and sugary snacks, okay? Now, I'm sure we could all figure out that this is either to be coming at the beginning or at the end. In this case, this was the conclusion. So they did their dash at the very end, which would give them the indication that the conclusion of this sentence is done. And it concluded with all the different types of foods that Americans should probably be looking at when you're trying to improve your health, okay? To mark a bonus phrase, all right? So this is just that extra, that, a little bit of drama, like I've said, okay, in your sentence. So even the simplest tasks, dash, washing, dressing, and going to work, were nearly impossible after I broke my leg, okay? And here you could put any 3, simple tasks. I'm just going to keep going with my lecture. And going to work, dash, were nearly impossible after I broke my leg, okay? So this bonus phrase is just telling us those 3 bonus tasks that are a little hard when you're trying to recoup from a broken leg, for sure. I can't say that I have ever broken my leg, but definitely does not sound like a good time. All right, and lastly, to break up dialogue. Like I had said before, you guys are doing a really good job with dialogue. This would be really easy to just kind of interrupt someone almost when you're talking, or when you're the writer showing your characters talking. So your example, Mary began to explain herself, saying, I was thinking, I don't care what you were thinking, Ralph interrupted. So really making that kind of just nitty gritty, cocky character that he's you know what, I really don't care what you're saying because this is the right way or this is not the right way. And this would give your dashes correct usage with interruption, okay? Alright, so pause indicates teacher, emphasis, inclusion, dialogue. Okay, going through our 4 examples. Alright, now I'm going to give it over to you guys. In these lines given, please rewrite the sentences using the correct usage. Alright, and these are, again, the exact same sentences that were in your pre-assessment, but I would like you to go back through this time using your notes, watching this video back if you need to, and seeing if you do a much better job at, just connecting what the mistakes are, which ones are dashes, which ones are ellipses, where the commas go, stuff like that. So I will give you a heads up that number 3 has lots of ellipses, okay? Also, the last question I have up here, this is just bonus. If you would like to create your own sentence, I'm going to pick a couple per class and then put them on the next grammar quiz that we have, which will probably be, could easily be this Friday, but definitely going into next week just to kind of have like another big reminder quiz just to kind of know what's going on and that we're all on the same page, okay? So hopefully all of this was very helpful. I look forward to seeing your 5 sentences and all of you boosting that grade just a little bit, okay? So thank you for joining me this morning.